Welcome, NoDQ Galaxy, and we're back with another NoDQ review. I am Virtue, and this is number 42, and I am joined by TJS, the Big G, and Aaron Rift, who looks like he has TJS, myself, and Big G on his shirt.
Yes.
So what's up, Aaron?
Well, we just had Christmas. Everyone's getting back into business mode now. The show must go on. It's time to get back to work. I hope everyone had a great holiday weekend, great Christmas Day, great Christmas Eve, all that wonderful stuff. And Virtue, from my understanding, I know we're getting off topic here, but you partaked in a lot of Christmas Vacation watching. Is that correct?
I watched it over 20 times since November. And it just coincidentally, AMC is actually playing marathons of all the vacation movies the past week. So when I sit there and play my Nintendo Switch or I think about wrestling, what do I do on the background? Watch movies like that. Because let's be honest, I've been tuning out WWE for the last week. It's a holiday time. You guys are going to have to help me out on this one a little bit.
Lame duck period.
So what about you, Big G? What's up, man?
I enjoyed my Christmas with my girlfriend and her family. I think I watched Christmas Vacation at least 10 times in the past month.
Rookie.
So not as much as you, but 10 times, Other than that, everything else is good. I caught up on Raw and SmackDown earlier today just to see what was going on.
I'm sorry.
And TJS, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing a lot better than I was last week.
Right.
I'll say much.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to be back, guys. And I actually I wasn't boycotting SmackDown, but I didn't see SmackDown last week. But thankfully, I saw it this week. I saw Raw. I'm ready to do some discussion here. Hope everyone had a great Christmas. Hope you had plenty of ham.
Okay.
Well, all right. So you were off last week. Ham, turkey, whatever. It's all good. I'm a honey baked ham guy. TJS, I know you were off last week, and something very similar happened recently to Mauro Ranallo. So why don't you go ahead and start with? You don't have to talk about you and what happened, but Mauro Ranallo. That's crazy. I remember growing up watching wrestling. You didn't hear about stuff like that. But we all know people like that in the entertainment business. They drive a lot, rental cars. Sometimes they just go home to be with their family, and in everyday driving, guess what? You get in car accidents. It looked bad.
Yeah.
It looked bad, but I don't think he's going to miss a beat. So any thoughts on the wrestling traveling and the fact that there isn't more of that type of stuff that happens when you're on the road so much?
Well, I'll just say that usually when, before I was in this accident, I would look at cars on the road and, accidents and whatever, and I would just be really dismissive or just kind of an asshole. But once you're in something like that, it just changes your perspective about this.
Right.
And it looked, Mauro's wreck looked really bad too. And I mean, our car was T-boned and the person ran off. Like, I heard of hit and runs before, but you just never think that thing would happen to you. And once it does, it really, really just, it changes you. And I feel bad for Mauro. But the guy, he's very strong. I watched his documentary on Showtime. This guy, despite battling with depression and everything else, he's a trooper, I'll say. And I'm glad that he wasn't hurt, and I'm glad he's okay. Like you said, Virtue, I don't think he's going to miss a beat. I'm just glad that he walked away from it okay, and I'm glad that myself and my girlfriend walked out of the accident that we were in okay. So that's all I have to say about that. Aaron?
So, Aaron, we don't really have to talk about the accident too much because obviously TJS touched on it. What I want to know about Mauro is do any of you guys, and Aaron, I'll start with you, think he'll ever be back on the main roster? I mean, we know he battles depression. We know the bullying with JBL, whatever went on. But do you think if they're really going to shake things up, they know the fans like him, at least the NXT-style fans. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say I agree with TJS and his sentiments about Mauro and the car accident. My only advice to people is to just drive like everyone else doesn't know how to drive. Always be
like
cautious.
Aaron Rift drives.
Yeah.
Very safe.
You just have to be vigilant, and that doesn't mean you're going to avoid an accident. Anything can happen, but I always drive with the idea that somebody's going to do something really stupid because there are a lot of bad drivers out there and a lot of people that probably should not have driver's license that do. So just
That's true.
everyone out there, be safe. And I've been quite a few, actually. I've been hit from behind a couple of times, and it's not fun. I've had my car almost totaled once, and yeah, it sucks. And fortunately, I was not hurt in any of those accidents. But nonetheless, best wishes to Mauro Ranallo. I don't think we're going to see him on the main roster again. I would be really surprised if we did. I think he's happy just doing his thing in NXT. He's very passionate about the NXT brand, and I think it's just too much workload for him. I think he's happy doing what he's doing right now, a little bit lower profile. He can do his other Showtime gigs and other jobs that are out there, various odds and ends jobs. I think he's happy with the current situation he's in. Big G, any other thoughts you have about Ranallo?
Not really. I mean, you guys all made great points. I mean, I was in an accident myself 2 years ago. Like you said, when you're out there driving, be cautious. Drive like you said, Aaron. Drive like other people don't drive. As far as Mauro being on the main roster, I don't think that's going to happen. Like you said, Aaron, he likes doing what he does, recording NXT all in one night, and then doing his Showtime boxing and other stuff like that. And I mean, there's not much else to say about it. That's all I gotta say.
I think he should be on the main roster. Mauro, if you watch this, you blocked me on Twitter, but if you watch NoDQ at all, bro, talk to Triple H, talk to Vince, get on something, at least big pay-per-views, not just NXT.
Why did he block you?
Mainstream people want to see you. I don't know. Huh. Like Kevin Owens blocked me too, but I think it's because of my ties to Russo. Tweeting Russo and his clan will get other wrestlers to block you. So, but nonetheless, luckily Mauro's okay.
Yes.
Recently, there has been an ad by WWE for creative positions, writing, and looking at this, they want like 2 years TV experience. Degrees in drama, journalism, all that good stuff. And I get that, right? For my career, you have to be qualified.
Right.
But it's clearly not working for WWE, and it hasn't for a very long time. They need, like you said, Aaron, and I'll start with you on this, they need to be unconventional.
Right.
So hire a statistician. You don't know who might, or interview them. You don't know who might be creative.
Right.
It worked with Vince Russo back in the day. Now, yes, he's gotten a lot of bad traction since, but when they were down and out, Vince McMahon did turn to him. He was writing magazines and creating his own storylines in those magazines to push paper magazines, and it made Vince, what's going on here? And it worked, people.
Yep.
Did it not work? And I'm not saying bring Russo back, but that was unconventional.
Yes.
Can't we have something? So, Aaron, go ahead. You mentioned that word on one of your lives.
Right.
And so go ahead, elaborate on that.
Well, I feel like, it would be beneficial to have somebody with a creative mind writing the shows, coming up with some new ideas, new concepts, something we haven't seen before. The problem is everything is so corporate now, and WWE wants the degree, WWE wants the experience, and the problem with that is you're just going to have somebody who's in a corporate environment, and at the end of the day, if they're answering to Vince, they're only going to have so much power, and you're not going to see much creativity. So whatever's done, I feel the most important thing is that whoever is writing has the opportunity to be more creative and be able to come up with some new ideas, new concepts, experiment. We need experimentation on Monday Night Raw, and the status quo needs to end. We need some change. We just need something. A true shakeup would be letting people come up with some new ideas and try something we haven't seen before. We need more of that.
Big G, it's like when I think of the WWE writing team right now with over 20 people, so we hear, yeah. I think of an assembly line in a cookie factory like the Elves.
Yeah.
And they're just churning out cookie after cookie, and they're just, they're good, they're yummy, but they get stale after a while. So that was my reference. What do you think? Change?
Yeah, I agree with you big time, Virtue. Like Aaron said, and like you said, they need new creative writers. I did see the ad for them hiring creative writers, but do you think if they do end up hiring these new writers, do you think they would let some of their old writers go?
Well, I mean, chances are Vince likes a lot of yes men, but I mean, I'm sure they can't have too many more. So yeah, they should probably let some people go. I mean, let's
Do you
face
think
it.
like
How
just
there's
have a couple? They should hire like maybe five. I could see them hiring like five new guys and letting five other guys go, and hopefully that would uh, make it better and have fresh ideas and better storylines down the road. And TJS, what do you think?
I don't want to see anyone lose their job, but someone needs to put some fire under the ass of these writers because it's been the same thing, man. And we're talking about this fresh start or whatever. It doesn't feel like a fresh start. And granted, it is the holiday season.
Right.
These next last week's Raw was taped. The New Year's Eve Raw is going to be taped, so it's obviously not going to be like a great show because we're going to read the spoilers. That's what we do. And I'm just going to say that just because you have a college degree, that doesn't make you creative. It might make you qualified for the job, but that does not make you creative. There are probably people out there that, they couldn't afford an education, so they just stay home and write in their journal or whatever. They get drunk or whatever, write in their journal, and those are probably some of the most creative people out there, like Edgar Allan Poe, for instance. I think that, like Aaron said, everything is just so corporate that they want the guy that's in the suit and tie, and they want the yes man, like you
piece
guys
of paper.
said. Yeah, definitely. I think that maybe instead of like asking for all these qualifications, just have people write like a sample script for a show. Go over the sample script. Whoever writes the best one, hire them. I think that's a better way to do it than just like, okay, you have the degree, you have the experience, yada yada yada. It's a tired formula, and
bring in interns that you don't pay, and then see what they can do, and then all of a sudden, if you find like the next Paul Heyman or Vince Russo, with creative ideas, hey, we're going to hire you. I mean, places do that all the time. Why not WWE?
I'm sure that there are people out there that would write for WWE for free. Yeah. I mean, it's like a dream job for some people, but they can't afford like education and everything. So.
Right. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I would not want to write for WWE just because I value my sanity too much, and I would completely lose my mind, and it's not worth it. To me, it's not worth it. But for some people out there, like you said, they might be willing to commit, basically give up their life and be Vince McMahon's slave boy, doing whatever he says, his butt kisser.
And that's what he likes. Rumor has it, and it's a very hostile work environment because I guess Vince McMahon doesn't even like people being sick. Like if you sneeze, he gets mad at you. You know what I mean? If you come in with the sniffle. So just imagine that work environment. Absolutely insane. Yeah. You know what? He can fire the whole creative writing team because TJS, who cares about people losing their jobs if they're doing bad at it? And he can hire the NoDQ team, But like I said, Aaron wouldn't go. But we'll see. I mean, they got, I've seen those posted before. And it's like, okay, who are you hiring? Because it's not working.
No, it really isn't.
But anyways. I almost liked it more back in the day when the wrestlers had more political influence because at least they'd be protecting their characters and they'd want good stuff to happen, like Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels. And wrestlers are afraid to do that now because they're coming off the NXT assembly line and they're afraid to challenge Vince McMahon. But anyway, moving on. Last week, did we not talk about John Cena and what he would do in 2019? And Santa Claus Vince McMahon. Did he not say you're going to get John Cena in 2019 on Raw and SmackDown?
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody watches a NoDQ review, maybe not Vince, but some of his yes men. So what do you think they're going to do with him? Is this going to – will Cena – we talked about it last week, but if Vince uses him, is it going to be a lot or is he just saying that now and then Cena's doing movies and this and that and we barely see him like The Rock? Coincidentally, did Cena not just apologize – to The Rock about that whole part-time spiel he made fun of The Rock about? Of course, that's probably kayfabe. Cena's promoting Bumblebee, probably wanting to make it, I don't have beef with The Rock because The Rock's big in Hollywood and Cena's trying to get his niche in Hollywood. So I get it. Right. I think that's a worked apology. Nonetheless, Big G, what's your thoughts on 1 week after we bring up Cena, Santa Claus McMahon? Is it going to be sparse? Did he lie to us?
Um, that was a coincidence. It had to be. Like you said, somebody had to be watching our review last week. Anyways, I don't think Cena's gonna be on TV as much. I think he'll be on the first two first Raw and first SmackDown of the new year, and then we'll possibly see him at the Royal Rumble. I don't know if he's gonna miss it or not. If he's doing another movie, but like I said last week, we don't need John Cena anymore. Give somebody else the big name, the big push, and let them get the name of John Cena and The Rock. Let them, skyrocket, whatever you want to call it. I'll be seeing John Cena on Friday at a house show in Baltimore.
You can't see
I think
him.
on Miss TV, I think it might be. I'm not too sure. And then the whole apology to The Rock.
Wait, you're going to a house show? Which one, Raw or SmackDown?
Oh,
It's a SmackDown house show.
Well, I see what you did there, Aaron. But I mean, don't they still do them separate? Like Raw does their own house shows and SmackDown.
Yeah.
I see where you went on that, Aaron.
Yeah.
The actual TV shows.
They're recording Raw on Friday in Detroit, and then SmackDown they're recording on Saturday in Pennsylvania. So, which is gonna be weird. Like I said, as far as the apology from Cena to Rock, it is what it is. Cena's doing movies now too. Rock's getting bigger, and Cena's just pretty much wants to be the next Rock. That's all I have to say about that.
All right, TJS, man, what do you think? And do you ever remember? You're probably too young for this, but Aaron remembers when they used to do TV tapings for Raw back in the day, and we'd read spoilers. But when you read those spoilers, you're like, I gotta watch. That's how good the TV was back then. So
was TJS even born?
Well, I don't know. Aaron, you can elaborate on that more. But TJS, thoughts on Cena? We got to bring him up again.
You guys heard what Vince called Cena, right? The greatest of all time, John Cena, 2019. Yeah, that's what we're getting, it seems. But the thing is, John Cena's starting another movie on January 20th.
Right.
So I think they're very desperate to boost numbers for him to just show up for 3 weeks and then just go off again. Very interesting. And Big G, I think that we do need Cena, man, because before we had Roman Reigns on Raw, and he was about the only guy that had as much star power as John Cena.
Right.
I mean, you've got Brock, but Brock's never there. So who on Raw who has that star power that has the Cena or the Roman Reigns star power?
Well, Strowman, but they ruin it.
It's
awful.
Yeah, it's awful because if you show somebody a picture of Braun Strowman, maybe they'll know who he is. If you show them John Cena, they're gonna know. If you show them Hulk Hogan, they're gonna know. If you show them Stone Cold, The Rock, or Roman, they're gonna know. But I don't know. No one has that star power like Cena and Roman do, and maybe John Cena will help have people tune in. Because there's no point in watching Raw if there's no Universal Champion. It's like Virtue said. I think John Cena needs to beat Brock and then pass the torch to someone else. That's about the only thing I can think happens.
Well, I think Cena's going to win that 17th world title. I think it's just a matter of time. Now, is it going to be WrestleMania? I mean, apparently Cena has another movie coming up, but it's very interesting. I feel like, at the very least, it is WWE's way of trying to get some short-term interest in the product and make up for the fact that Roman Reigns is gone, try to fill up that void by having Cena back. But, yeah, my prediction, and it still stands, I think John Cena will win the 17th world title this year, and it is what it is. Some people are going to like it, some people are going to hate it, but I think it's pretty much destined to happen. John Cena will be the 17-time world champion, and then he'll probably go off to Hollywood and phase out his WWE career. Regarding the tapings, I mean, it's just a temporary thing. It's for the holidays, so no big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, back in the day, they would tape 4 episodes of Raw in one night. They would have a whole month worth of Raw in the can, and yeah, it wasn't exactly the best time to be a fan. And WCW started doing the live shows every week, and then WWE had to start changing up their format and doing more and more live shows. I mean, for the holiday period, it really doesn't matter because it's a lame duck period anyways, and I think people would have been just as disappointed with the live show as a taped show at this point. So it doesn't really matter that much. If anything, it was good for me because I was able to post spoilers on the site and get traffic from that, and then actually just watch the YouTube clips and not have to spend 3 hours watching the show. So that was nice for me personally.
Now, Aaron he went like way back when they would tape 4 Raws in one night. After that, when it started getting Attitude Era, they would have a live Raw on a Monday, and then they would, that Tuesday, I think, they would tape the next week's Raw.
Right.
So they didn't have to do the next week live. And then it would be live the Monday after that. I like that format, to be honest with you. Now, of course, they eventually had to go to live every week. But
did the spoilers get a lot of traffic, Aaron?
Yeah, they always did, and I know a lot of people hate the spoilers, but the spoilers definitely get traffic for the site. So even today...
It's not like you're forcing them to click it, so it's not a big deal.
Right.
Yeah, and thanks to tapings back in the day, Rick Rude was on Raw and Nitro on the same night. So if you remember that. But all right, let's move on. So Santa McMahon also mentioned a steel cage match with who is it? McIntyre and Ziggler.
Yeah,
Ziggler
on Raw coming up. All right, I ain't even interested in that. Aaron can talk about that during a spoiler or whatever.
Right.
Let's talk about the other announcement. We anticipated this back in the summer when Aaron and I were in Chicago, and Stefan and we debated, should WWE bring the women's tag team titles aboard? And I said I kind of disagreed with it unless they had their own show, but they ended up having Evolution, which is just one show a year.
Right.
I would like to see the women evolve. I mean, 205 Live's not doing very well, and you saw how they've condensed that. So what would a female show do on the network? Who knows? But I think if you're going to bring the women's tag team titles aboard, I think you should start considering having at least one weekly show where all the women can compete on it, plus Raw and SmackDown. I don't know, but what's everyone's thoughts with the announcement of the women's tag team titles? Now, do we know if it's a set per show or just one? Is it just going to be one title and they fly? We don't even know yet. A lot of people are speculating Sasha and Bayley could win them, which is kind of too obvious. The Bellas names can get thrown out there, which probably would draw a lot of heat, which might be interesting, to be honest with you. Tamina and Nia, people would really go ape crap over that. So TJS, what's your thoughts on this? It's going to happen.
Oh, man. What people don't understand is that there's only so much room on a card. There's not room for all these titles. There's barely room. Like, Raw feels so crowded, and SmackDown's even more so. Sometimes we don't even see people on SmackDown that should get spots. Shinsuke Nakamura didn't show up on that show sometimes, and he was a mid-card champion.
Right.
It's too much. I'm all for the women's wrestlers getting a chance, but enough is enough. I mean, you have to do away with something. I understand. On YouTube today, I commented on a video where I was saying, yes, WWE has the women to do this, but there's not enough space on the card. It's just going to be so jam-packed.
Right.
We get it. They even got rid of the overrun, so now there's less time. So what's going to happen now is that some more people are going to get lost in the shuffle, or they're going to try to expand Raw and SmackDown to get like another hour to go on the network or something. I don't know. I'm fine with women's tag titles. But
right.
Once you have the women's tag title, you're going to kind of be spread thin on the singles wrestlers because you've got Sasha and Bayley, Iconics, Riot Squad, Sonya Deville and Mandy. There's a couple teams, but
if they have one set of titles though, and they can go back and forth, it won't be too bad. I mean, that's literally what I think they would have to do.
Yeah,
that's fine, but I don't think that there's room to add a whole nother division. It's just going to be really jam-packed, I think.
Right.
We'll see what happens, Aaron.
Well, I would be totally cool with it if we had some of the titles merged. One world champion on both shows, have the IC champion on Raw, US champion on SmackDown, and then have one set of tag team champions for each show, and let that be it. My mom gets it. She doesn't watch wrestling, but she understands wrestling is oversaturated. There's just too much content out there, too many shows, too many titles, too much happening for people to keep up with, and people just lose interest when they get overwhelmed, unless you're the super diehard fan who watches every single show, and that's your life, which is fine. If you like watching wrestling 24/7, then WWE gives that to you. But For some of us out there, we like to do other things like watch Christmas Vacation 20 times in a week or do any number of things. But as far as I'm concerned, if they just merge the titles, I would be okay with the women's tag team titles. I sound like a broken record. I say it every week, but that's how I feel about it. And I assume they're doing a tournament, but who knows? Nothing has been confirmed at this time.
Who do you think is going to win it, Aaron? And coincidentally, who recently just hit 2 million YouTube subscribers as well?
Right. Well, apparently the Bella Twins are not popular, despite the fact that they hit 2 million viewers. I knew that was going to happen. As soon as I posted that, people responded, "They're popular. You're a liar. Clickbait. Blah 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 blah." But
that's truth, right?
They do have. Where's the lie? They do have 2 million views.
They're probably more casual fans that like them more, than wrestling fans, which is what WWE wants.
Exactly. But I think it's going to be Sasha and Bayley. That would be my guess at this point, and I would assume they're going to crown the first champions at WrestleMania. To me, that's what would make sense. But Big G, I mean, do you think a tournament's the right way to go, or do you think there's something else they should do to crown the first champions?
I think it is, but this is what I think. They should only have only a couple teams from Raw and only a couple teams from SmackDown competing for the tag team titles. Don't have all the women competing for the tag team titles like TJS said. You still got to have some single competitors to fight for the Raw Women's title or the SmackDown Women's title. As far as when they could crown them, I could see WrestleMania. I could even see them waiting until October time of 2019 when they move SmackDown to Fox and possibly get rid of this brand split. That way, and like you said, Aaron, merge some of the titles so you don't have all these titles on there. And, I mean, yeah, you might have some people lost in the shuffle, but how long has that been going on already? It's nothing new. It's going to keep on happening.
But I think it's going to get worse if we add another division.
Right. Well,
yeah, and then with Virtue saying, if they put it on the network, there's too many shows on there already. I mean, you have 205 Live, which I don't watch. NXT and NXT UK, I do watch, because I do enjoy those. But if you added a women's show, how long would you put that on there? And would you not show them on Raw or SmackDown anymore?
Right. And here's the thing about the tournament idea. I mean, just because you have, let's say, 8 teams doesn't mean all those teams have to be engaged in the storylines. I mean, you can have them part of the tournament, and then once you narrow it down to a few teams, you can have those other teams disengage from it and do some other things, and then you could just focus on a couple of teams that are feuding in the division and maybe have 2 teams feud on Raw, 2 teams feud on SmackDown, and have them try to go for that number 1 contender spot against whichever team is the champ.
I could see it being Lita and Trish Stratus versus Bayley and Sasha for the tag team titles.
I say the final is going to be Nia and Tamina versus Sasha and Bayley. I mean, that just knowing WWE, that's going to be if I see if they do that and there's the brackets and they're on the opposite sides, I'm going to be like, you got to be kidding me.
Right.
But the thing is, they taped Raw and SmackDown. But you didn't see Asuka or Becky or Charlotte or, Nia and Tamina is not so really big, but you didn't even see them on Raw from this past week either. So it is what it is.
Right.
We will see. 2019, right? Vince says we're going to shake things up. All right, let's move over to SmackDown a little bit. It's hard to do these reviews when it's holiday time. And WWE's coming off the lowest ratings ever, and people are disinterested, and it's affecting our numbers. That's my excuse, so people don't blame me.
Right.
But we got to dig. We got to talk about stuff, pick it from the shows the best we can. So finally, guys, we got it on Christmas Day, even though it was taped from last week. It happened, Rusev Day, right? Isn't that the whole play of Rusev Day, Christmas? And what happened? It wasn't the WWE title like it should have been last year, Aaron. I'll start with you. They put a meaningless title on Rusev. Congratulations, Rusev Day is a thing.
Right.
So what's your thoughts if they did that with Nakamura, who's never on TV with that title, putting him over? Was it just, hey, let's just do this? Maybe 5 people will care?
Hey, it's Christmas Day, which is also Rusev's birthday, and it's also Rusev Day, so why not? I mean, have that feel-good moment. It doesn't really matter one way or another. It's just for the sake of doing something. Does it mean Rusev's going to get a big push? Probably not, but at least he'll get maybe more TV time than Nakamura. I don't know what this means for Nakamura at this point. I feel like, I mean, I think that it's been denied that he's leaving WWE, but I mean, I think he signed a 3-year deal, and I don't know if he's going to stay or not. I mean, from my understanding, he is, but what else can he really do at this point? I mean, yeah, he could probably just make a little bit of money with WWE and have a situation where he's not doing the heavier style in New Japan. You know, in WWE he can be a little bit safer with his in-ring style at his age. But I mean, it feels like there's nothing really else for him to do at this point. He was already in the WWE title picture, and that pretty much flopped. What do you do with the guy? I mean, TGS, what should WWE do with Nakamura? Should they invest in him? Should they send him back to NXT? Should they just let him go back to New Japan? I mean, what are your thoughts?
I think NXT needs to stop being developmental. Just they need to acknowledge it as a brand because that's what it is. Look at TakeOver New Orleans. That I believe that was WrestleMania weekend where there was the 6-man ladder match, Gargano versus Almas, Ciampa versus Gargano. All of these matches have just been amazing, and they call that the developmental brand? Are you kidding me? I'm worried that the people are going to get called up, Heavy Machinery, EC3, Lars, and I'm worried that they're going to get lost in the shuffle. It's like they're not getting promoted. They're getting demoted to the main roster. It's sad.
But, time out. From a fan's perspective, Aaron knows what I'm saying with this. From a fan's perspective, they're getting demoted. But we know the big juggernaut of WWE, when you're on their main stage trying to sell merchandise, trying to appeal to casuals, they make more money on the main roster. I mean, a lot more.
Oh, yeah, their pay is going to go up. But
yes.
I just think about what CM Punk said in the podcast, the Colt Cabana. He said, it's not all about money, which is fair.
Once you have it, you have it, you say it. See, Punk already had it, and then he said it. I wanted to see Punk say that if he never had it.
Yeah, let's wait 10 more years, too, and see if Punk still says that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at Tyler Breeze, have you seen Tyler Breeze's house? This guy's a jobber. And if you look back, he had a great match with Ricochet on NXT TV because I feel like NXT, you don't have the handcuffs on that you do on the main roster. I know that we say that a lot, but man, I don't know what's going on. I remember when Shinsuke Nakamura was first signed to WWE, it was the feud with Sami Zayn in NXT. We saw his face on the Titantron. We went nuts. There were newspapers going around in Japanese that said Shinsuke Nakamura to WWE. Everyone was so excited. And now he's completely ruined. WWE can just ruin anything. And it's just sad to see.
But to a 7 to 9-year-old kid, they might like him. Oh, who's that guy on SmackDown that does all these gyrations? That's WWE's model in mind. I think that's what they think of somebody like him.
And he has a cool entrance too.
Yeah, they don't try to appeal to us.
It's formulated towards kids. And
yes.
It's awful. It's just sad to say that I don't care about Shinsuke Nakamura as a character, as a wrestler. Did you guys watch the match with Rusev, by the way?
Yeah, It was a fine match.
I loved it. I thought it was a great match, and it's just sad that we don't see that every week. We see these just dumb segments, or we see him not appearing at all, and then the commentary tries to make up for it, and they say, oh, he's very picky about who he defends the title against. The last I checked, the wrestlers don't make the damn matches. They even say that every week. Shane McMahon, you don't make the matches, I do. So what? Someone else make him.
Big G, we got to get a kid's perspective on this, so go ahead, take it away.
His perspective?
Just kidding.
Ouch.
Go ahead. It's your turn, man. You were wearing the Steelers gear. I had to say that.
I guess congratulations to Rusev Day. He's a 3-time U.S. champion now. Hopefully he can make it more relevant. Maybe he'll get some more TV time out of this. Maybe we'll see some better matches, some different matches. As far as Nakamura goes, like TJ said, I feel bad for the guy, you know. What was it, 2016 NXT, and then gets on SmackDown, and
Royal Rumble winner, you know?
Yeah, Royal Rumble winner, you know. And I feel exactly the way TJS feels. You know, it feels like as soon as they get to the main roster, they're demoted. Vince doesn't like these NXT guys. He likes his own little crop. He plants his guys. They grow.
Right. Time out. I want you to continue. I have to ask you this right on the spot. Put yourself as an NXT wrestler. You can wrestle. The Big G. And the people love you
You're
in
a
NXT.
spot monkey.
Right? I don't even know what your wrestling style is, but people love you. Not Bull Durham or whatever that Bull guy's name used to be.
You get all your shit in one match.
They love you down there, but you're making $40,000, $60,000.
Okay, I know where you're going.
Then they say, hey, we want you up on SmackDown, and you're going to make $325,000 your first year.
And you only get to do a quarter of the moves.
Yes. And your merch record and your merch money will go up.
And you get to cut scripted
What are you going to pick?
Okay, remember we talked about this on a Virtue's Rage one time.
We're talking about it on the review.
Okay, so this is from what I remember what I said. Got tongue twisted there.
Yeah.
If I was a wrestler and I was in NXT,
you would be a jobber.
We're giving them the benefit of the doubt.
I would want to stay down there and not go to the main roster because I want to do what I love. I came to wrestle.
You're going to
put a show on.
Yeah, what happens? Guess what? You break your leg.
Not to go on the main roster and be lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
And be on TV every once in a while.
You break your leg. You're out of commission for 8 months. Then what?
Wait, what?
You break your leg. You only get your downside guarantee for 8 months. Then what?
Okay, then I'm stuck with that. As long as I can go back down to NXT when I come back.
Did Kevin Nash teach you anything about the wrestling business?
So wait a minute, Big G. If like a huge YouTube channel that has like 1 million subscribers was like, hey, we want you to be on the show and we'll pay you like triple of what you're making.
Hell, I'll do it.
No, I wouldn't do it. I don't do it for the money.
Oh, comment to Big G, please.
What?
I said all the comments about Big G. I mean, yeah, you're gonna. I mean, that's a big. We're talking. The wrestlers they do it as a passion, Big G. But at some point, they got to put food on the table. They got to look at their long term, and they want to get to the big stage to make Brock Lesnar.
NXT or WWE. Sorry, if they don't want to go up to the main roster. Let them leave NXT, go to the Indies.
Here's a secret. It's not a secret, but when you get to the main roster WWE, and once you're out of WWE, guess what? You can make a hell of a lot more money in the Indies because you were a TV star, and trust me, they can do that. Now you're probably like, well, why isn't it working for Enzo? Well, I bet you Enzo he might be failing at rapping, but I mean he still gathers crowds. Maybe not everywhere he goes. But people are still interested in him because he was a wrestler.
But where's he going to go? He doesn't do spots.
I would rather have a regular job than get promoted to the WWE roster and not be on TV at all.
But the house shows, from what I hear, are the best part of the job.
But you get paid to work the live events.
And you get to do all the Make-A-Wish stuff, and you get to do the charities.
Yeah, that's
you get
true,
to make the world a better place.
I don't know. That's just my opinion.
If you want to make the world a better place, you got to look
WrestleMania
in the mirror
bonus
and make that
too.
change.
You know, you can be on the kickoff show at WrestleMania.
You can get that blood money from Saudi Arabia, and then you're set for life.
I would rather hear a whole crowd chant during the whole entire show at an NXT takeover than rather hear boring at a WWE pay-per-view.
Hey,
Or people,
and throw away $300,000 a year.
Or how they did with Rusev and Nakamura. They chanted Rusev Day, Nakamura, this is awesome. They edited that into the crowd because the crowd was sitting down the whole entire time.
Right.
So I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
Well,
like
Rusev,
I said, I'm a
every night Rusev gets to go home on top of his wife, on top of a big pile of money. I don't think he's sweating it too much.
TJS, what would you do in that same spot? $40,000 in NXT or $3.25, $325K on the main roster.
What's your
Big
price?
G told us where he's going to stand. I'm just throwing those numbers out because that's probably
Ted
Tyler
DiBiase
Breeze.
said it best. everyone has a price. So
If you're
TJS,
gonna
what's
pay
your
me-
price?
If they tell me that I can go to the main roster for $375,000 a year, I'll go out there and wear a damn
Plus,
chicken suit.
yeah.
Plus, I'll do the chicken dance. I'll do whatever they want if they're paying me that.
Will
And then
kiss
you would
Vince's
get,
ass?
and then you would get booked like the Revival.
I don't care if I'm making money.
Where's your
And Aaron,
artistic
we know you would
integrity,
go-
TJS?
We know Aaron would go to the main roster. I don't even have to ask him. It makes sense.
I would join the Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass Club for that kind of money. You kidding me?
But I had to bring it up, and I think a lot of people think about stuff like that. So I hope the comments light up with people's opinions on that. Where would you want to go, NoDQ Galaxy?
TJS, what's the furthest you would go with Vince for money for $500,000?
Nice question, Aaron. I like it.
Kiss
Come
My
on.
Ass Club. That's it.
That's it? You won't go further than that?
No, sorry.
Okay.
What about you, Aaron?
It would take a lot, but I would need approval beforehand.
Yeah.
Approval from who? Okay. Anyway,
Well,
let's move on.
you said it in the chat room.
I don't think you need approval for kissing Vince McMahon's
Make
ass,
the
because
sound.
That means if you were there, time out, if you were there doing that, there's more chances of this other person, Caitlyn, would be hanging with the Bellas backstage. So
That
you know
is
how-
true. I think as long as she got to do that, then...
Yeah. Anyway.
Money makes the world go.
You know what? I probably would do it if she got to hang out with the Bellas for a week.
Just a little.
Round of applause, everybody. All right. So
And for the
speaking of-
record,
yes.
hold on. I would never kiss Vince McMahon's ass. I am sorry.
$1
Yeah, you
million.
would.
No.
$2
Like
million.
I said,
But you
I'm
would
a working
kiss Triple-
man.
you would-
I'm
$2
a
million
working
and the Steelers win the Super Bowl.
You would kiss Triple H's, though.
Oh.
Yes.
Nah,
I'm going to save you. Let's move on. Let's
All right, well-
talk about... Go ahead, Aaron.
Well, what about the other segment that happened at the end of SmackDown after Nakamura versus Rusev? with
That's
Vince?
what I was moving to.
Okay.
So some AJ Styles and Vince had a little segment backstage, and guess what we got to see? We haven't really seen this emotion from AJ since he was kind of like heel AJ. And even then, he smacked, even though it was one of those shaky camera moments.
Oh, that was so
He
bad.
punched, smacked, whatever you want to call it, Vince McMahon. Doesn't matter how it looked. The fact is, Vince was down on the ground because of AJ Styles. What does this all mean? Are we going to get something good out of this in 2019? Are we going to get not Bullet Club, but the club? Are we going to get a group against Vince? The rise of something with AJ. What's going to happen? TJS, I'll start with you. Or was it just a one little time to get the internet talking, and then it goes away?
I'll say that Vince seemed aroused by this because when he was laying there, he started smiling. And, like, you had Jamie Noble come up there. He's like, "Are you okay?"
Well-
and he's like, "I think I'm fine."
Well, ruthless aggression turns him on. So I've heard.
I don't know what is going on. I don't know why AJ Styles did this. If it's a heel turn, then I think it's a bad idea because he's the top babyface on SmackDown, and it's kind of heel heavy right now.
But Vince isn't a babyface, though. It could be. Could it be anti-authority, Steve Austin type?
They're all baby faces now.
What I don't get is, I think that what happened with AJ and Vince needed to happen with Finn Balor and Vince. I think if it was Finn Balor and AJ's shoes, I would have liked it way more.
Right.
Because we've seen the vicious side of AJ when Samoa Joe was harassing his family.
Good point.
Like, what do you mean, Vince? You want to see the animal in AJ? I thought Batista was going to come and attack AJ.
I know, right?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Well, elaborate on your Finn thought then.
I think that if it was Finn and Vince McMahon was like, "Come on, damn it, show me the demon," and then Finn punched him or something,
And then Finn pulls down his pants and shows him the demon.
Oh man.
that would be a character for him, I don't think. But I don't know. I hope AJ is not turning heel. I don't know where this is going to go because he only punched Vince once. So
Right.
what is every week is Vince going to be like, "All right, hit me right here, AJ"? Are we going to get Vince versus AJ at WrestleMania? Could you imagine? The Kevin Owens beatdown was way better.
Vince just gets hit right in the sweet spot.
Well, Vince's wrestling days are long
great.
over. Big G, what do you think? What do you think about this? Anything good going to come out of it?
I mean, if we do, maybe we could see Triple H.
I mean, I
versus
know you're
AJ
down
at
in
WrestleMania.
NXT down there, looking at it from the NXT point of view. But let us know. What do you think?
I could if this does move forward into 2019, if it wasn't a one-time thing, I could see Triple H versus AJ down the road at WrestleMania possibly, or the Royal Rumble, or it could just be a one-time deal where Vince said, he wants to see the animal come out of AJ, and maybe we'll. I mean, we've seen a more aggressive AJ before, like you said with Samoa Joe, and when he was a heel back in the day against Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, and before then when he was with facing Cena with the club Gallows and Anderson, we could see a club reunion. Who knows? But I do like TJS's idea. It should have been Finn in that segment, and let me see your demon, but not what Aaron said. Not pulling down his pants and showing them demon. No.
Where Vince is just like, stop your smiling, Finn. Come on.
I'm telling you, I would have rather seen it be, and nothing against Finn, or AJ. I would have rather seen it Baron Corbin. Didn't he get humiliated by the McMahon storyline-wise? That would have made sense. Probably he wouldn't get that reaction from the crowd. People just don't like Corbin. But I would have liked to roll with that. If I was the Vince Russo of this era writing for that, that's what I would have done. I would have made people be empathetic for Baron Corbin.
I don't think Vince could survive a shot from Corbin. That'd probably take Vince out for good. Like a stiff punch. I don't know.
He wouldn't be smiling, that's for sure.
Aaron, any thoughts on the little segment there?
Okay, so first of all, I thought it was not very well done. I haven't been a big fan of Vince since coming back. I feel like there's a reason he's not on TV, and it's the fact that he just comes off very old and senile. And
wait.
I feel the segments have been awkward. I feel like the Santa Claus segment was awkward. I felt like this segment was awkward. I thought the slap was really poor. It was a very weak. It was a very weak slap, and then the camera did that fast zoom in, zoom out when Vince did that weak slap. It just looked so bad, and this was a pre-taped segment. They could not do a second take of this? Was that the best take they could do of it? I mean, it was just...
He's getting old, Aaron.
I thought AJ was overreacting, like when he started screaming, and I thought it was weak. I thought it was really weak. And
it was just... it was one slap from an old man.
And that pissed him off that badly. I mean, I wasn't feeling it. It felt like it was thrown together last minute. Is there a direction? Could be, but maybe not. Maybe there is no direction. Maybe
I'm sure AJ will have some repercussions next week on SmackDown.
So wait, Vince is going to be a heel again? Oh boy, how exciting is that?
So, Aaron, did you like the Kevin Owens Vince segment though?
That was way better. And Vince bleeding. That one was...
And
so if AJ headbutted him instead of slapping him, do you think that would have been better? Or do you think that would have just been like, oh, well, we saw that with Kevin Owens?
I want to see where this is going.
I think it should have been a Styles Clash right on the concrete floor.
Oh, Vince wouldn't
I'm just kidding.
Right, I
Vince
think
would have died on the spot.
I think it was desperate, again, to try and garner up some attention and get people interested. I'm
Internet gifts.
Like, part of me was wondering, like, if WWE was actually good at foreshadowing and actually producing some quality storytelling. Like, part of me thought maybe the animal reference was going to be foreshadowing Batista versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania. If Triple H is unable to go, WWE is going to go with Batista versus AJ Styles as a fresh matchup for WrestleMania.
There you go.
He kept saying animal too. Like,
right.
It wasn't just he just kept saying animal.
It would be so refreshing to know that they'd foreshadowed stuff like that, and then it does happen. But I just don't have faith. I just think things are a coincidence.
Right, and I would be surprised if there was actually a follow-up. I feel like they're not even going to reference this next week.
Yeah.
You
think Vince will still be popping in like this then? I mean, he's there every week in the gorilla position, so you think they'll keep doing him, or will it be more Shane, Triple H stuff?
I don't know who's going to be doing him. I mean, again, I don't know who's going to be showing their demon backstage or not. But I feel like if the ratings go up after football season ends, maybe Vince will disappear. It depends how desperate he is. If the ratings stay down, we might be seeing Vince on a regular basis, and I just don't think he should be on TV anymore.
I mean, he's been casually appearing. You saw him just show up on SmackDown the other week and make the match between Asuka and Naomi. So I feel like the idea here is that we, instead of like one GM, we have 4, and it's the McMahon.
So WWE's changing because the McMahons are running the show now.
Oh yeah, they weren't doing that before, so it makes more sense now. What a change! What a shakeup.
What a change.
Well, if anyone can fool fans like there's something going to happen and change is coming where it never does, it's Vince McMahon. But we'll have to pay attention to the ratings to see if people are falling for it. And what did the last Raw draw? I don't know what this week drew, but the first one he came back on, wasn't it like 2.5? It went up a little bit. It was something like that. But it's still, I mean, you were over 3 million. And let's not even talk about what they used to be way back in the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Back during the Russo era, bro.
Yeah. That's right, man. But again, you had stars. You had nothing to lose. They had creative freedom. They were not afraid to tell Vince McMahon or Russo, whoever was booking and agenting them, we don't like this. And it showed. We got to see the best of Foley, the best of Rock, the best of Austin.
Yeah.
Triple H even did some good stuff.
Right.
Kane. I mean, we had a lot of top stars back then. Today, we don't. They're afraid. They only want the one guy, whoever they're pushing.
John Cena.
All right. Well, yeah. Well, and it was Roman, but he's out. So, all right, main event time. And so with this being the end of the year, I assume Aaron's going to have this up here in a day or so.
It'll be up tonight.
We've talked about 2018 reflections and this and that, but let's go ahead. Let's foreshadow 2019. We're going to go around at least once. What's everyone most looking forward to in professional wrestling next year? And I will start with Aaron Riff because he looks like he has something on the tip of his tongue ready to say it. Go.
It's actually quite a lame answer. I'm just looking forward to the NoDQ.com 21-year anniversary meetup in Toronto, Canada, where I'll get to hang out with all my good friends. That is what I'm looking forward to.
And I will be there, guaranteed 100%. So if you hate me, show up to Toronto.
Come confront Virtue face to face and tell him how much he sucks. Yeah. But seriously, though, I guess I'm looking forward to the NXT shows because they're always consistently good. I am looking forward to what All Elite Wrestling does, if that counts. I'm curious to see if they can actually get going and start things up and actually be an alternative to WWE on a regular basis. And I am curious to see if WWE really makes changes. I don't think they will, but it will be interesting to see. And, of course, the whole Fox deal, will that blow up in WWE's faces if the ratings continue to drop? Will Fox have buyer's remorse, and will there be some more drama? I'm actually looking forward to 2020 to see what happens with the XFL, if that's another bomb, or if Vince could somehow make it work. Man.
How about the demise of Impact? Are you looking forward to that?
They're on Pursuit, so they're not going anywhere. They're going to live forever.
What is Pursuit?
It's an outdoor show. It's your kind of thing, TJS.
Why are they on that channel?
Weren't they on the Outdoor Channel once before?
No, they were on Pop, and then
that was Destination America. I don't know what. Yeah,
well,
I don't
that's
know what
almost like an outdoor show, pretty much. Yeah.
If they're on an outdoor show channel, they might as well just be backyard wrestling at this point.
So some backyard wrestling's good.
Man,
some's not though.
I think that the Royal Rumble, I'm kind of excited for that because I'm just excited for Brock Lesnar to lose the title. Honestly, I'm curious to see who's going to beat him. I think Seth Rollins has a real shot at this because I don't know who else does. I really can't think of anyone besides Cena or Rollins that would beat Brock Lesnar. And like you guys said, the Fox deal should be interesting. Hopefully SmackDown gets a new set at that point because, I mean, they didn't get it for SmackDown 1000. I really would like to see Roman come back in 2019. I hope that he does. I'd like him back as soon as possible. Hope he's in good health and everything.
Isn't that interesting, though, that's being said now? How many people are saying that just absolutely despise the guy while he was there? You know what I mean?
I mean, he's been off TV and the numbers have taken a hit. You can say it's a coincidence or you can say that's not. I mean, I don't know. It should be an interesting year. Like Aaron said, All Elite Wrestling Looking forward to that. Hopefully, they have some competition. Hopefully, WWE has to compete with them, but realistically, I don't see it happening. It's an uphill battle for sure. Big G?
Phew. You guys pretty much said a lot what I was thinking about. I am looking forward towards the Royal Rumble because, that's always big in 2019. As for me, I'm looking at how much bigger NXT and NXT UK is going to get bigger and better in 2019. Hopefully one day down the road, they'll put NXT on a main station like USA or on Fox or FS1.
Or Pursuit, whatever that network is.
So, what else am I looking forward to? I really haven't looked into this All Elite Wrestling thing yet, so I'll look into it and see how big it would be. And other than that, hopefully Raw and SmackDown gets better in 2019 as well.
All right. I'm looking forward to, obviously, anywhere I go with like Aaron said, the Toronto meetup. Chances are I am going to be in New Jersey for WrestleMania with my clan from around here. And so I'm mostly looking forward to what will main event WrestleMania. Will it be the guys again? Will it be Lesnar, Rollins, or whoever? Will Vince McMahon keep going with what he's always went with? Or for the first time in history, will the females finally get the main event? And everybody's now talking, it should be Becky and Ronda. So not only do I want to see if the females will headline Mania, who's it going to be? Because the internet wants Becky and Ronda, where I still think Vince McMahon and the higher-ups in WWE are still thinking Charlotte. Could we have a triple threat with those three? What exactly could you imagine? That would be a great main event. But could you imagine if they did go Charlotte versus Ronda, and then Becky ended up getting like Nia Jax in the middle of the show? But it's WWE. We have to consider every possibility. But I'm interested. I'm interested to see. The hype of WrestleMania is always there. I know when it happens, we get let down, right? But you still have the NXT show. You still kind of like the Hall of Fame, who's going in, this or that.
Right.
It's a good experience. Usually the matches don't seem to deliver, but the spectacle of WrestleMania, it's always great. The whole months leading into it, you're watching the old stuff. You go back and watch Andre and Hogan again, Warrior and Hogan, Owen and Brett, Savage and Steamboat. That's why I like WrestleMania season. WWE's hooked me. You can call me a yes man or whatever, but I grew up watching these great people, and just because the product seems stale today and the booking is shady, it doesn't change the greatness that I watched growing up and why I'm part of NoDQ and I talk wrestling, right? It's that stuff. We can talk about new and what's going to happen, but it's fun talking about what's happened and remembering how it was. Who'd you used to watch wrestling with? Your grandma or whoever. Right. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And also, I just have this weird feeling Chris Jericho's coming back to WWE for something. I know it. We talked about this. I said he's telling people that he hates the product now and he doesn't want anything to do with them. So when he comes back, we're like, hey, what? Huh? He's back. And if he showed up in All Elite Wrestling, I don't know how long that's going to take to boot up. But that would be cool, too. But, Jericho just showing up anywhere he wants, making names for himself. But that's it. But, Aaron, you were right. He did never show up technically on Impact, and nor will I just don't think that's not good for his brand, probably.
Exactly. Unless he wants to start working with Pursuit TV in some kind of partnership. Maybe Chris Jericho goes hunting and fishing. I don't know.
Doesn't he have like a ghost show or something now?
I've seen it, yeah, or I've heard about it. I saw like one episode, and it's it's the same old as Ghost Hunters, but they just try to do it a little bit different.
Jericho, he's gonna have a ranch now. They're gonna get like a ranch TV show or something like Broken Skull Ranch.
You know what they should do on a channel? Jericho should do this. They should make fun of every one of those type of shows: Ghost Hunter, Bigfoot Hunter, River Monsters, all of those, Survivor. And they should do spoofs of that, but like have Chris Jericho be the host of that. That'd be a cool, entertaining show. Make fun of all of that reality stuff that I think is a fad. And let's face it, ever since reality TV became big, has wrestling started going down the crapper, right? I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but like I'm sick of Total Bellas. Sorry, Caitlin. I'm sick of Total Divas. I'm sick of all of that. It exposes too much of the product. I know kayfabe's dead, but
No, he's not.
Take that. Sorry, kayfabe candy ass. Take that energy that they clearly put into those shows and put it into your regular wrestling TV product, right, Big G?
Absolutely.
That's it, man. That is all I got. Anybody else have anything?
Kayfabe Candy ass is not dead.
The end of the year before we call it quits.
Trying to think.
If Big G, you want to go ahead?
No, go ahead, TJS. I'm trying to think of something, but go ahead.
2 things. I could see Becky Lynch ending up in like the female battle royal at WrestleMania because it's WWE and they would do that.
Ooh.
Second,
no thumbs down. Just bad comments towards TJS right there.
And what would you guys think about maybe Undertaker beating Brock and then retiring as the Universal Champion? And then you have a blank slate. You could do a big tournament for the title.
Boring.
I think Undertaker should not wrestle.
Put it right back on Brock Lesnar anyways.
Next time we hear the gong, whatever it's called, the lights go out, it should be the announcement of the headliner for next year's Hall of Fame.
Yep, I agree.
That's what it should be.
Absolutely.
I don't know. He'll probably wrestle at the next Saudi Arabia show.
Yeah.
I'm surprised no one said they're looking forward for that next Saudi Arabia show in 2019. That's kind of weird.
I'm sure the rest.
I might not even watch it.
What happens if they took NXT over to Saudi Arabia? Big G. Then what would you? What would you do?
Aaron, what's your quote that you always say? I can't remember.
It is what it is.
No.
Now, see, here's the thing.
Hey, goodbye.
Broken record.
No.
I do not care about this match.
No, that's good.
The with the likely and unlikely or something like that.
That one.
What?
Highly unlikely and all likelihood.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I don't think NXT is gonna go to Saudi Arabia. If they do, then I might.
That's what else I'm looking forward to.
Well, the thing is,
that is so Vince McMahon. Well, nobody's liking our Saudi Arabia shows over in the States. What if I send NXT over there? All those people that said they boycotted, they're gonna have to watch it then.
What
Saudi
Prince is gonna watch?
I know because they want the big star.
NXT. Here you go. Here it is. NXT Takeover Blood Money.
Okay.
NXT.
Aaron, are we about at an hour?
We're past an hour. I think we've covered enough for this week.
All right. Big G, go ahead. I'll start with you.
Well, NoDQ.com/Big G takes you to my Twitter page. So if you want to keep on dishing out the hate comments, you can go there and do that. You can go into the comment section and dish out the more hate. Just keep it coming. I'll take it. Instagram is NoDQ_Big G. Facebook is Jeffrey Hiltel. And go to NoDQ.com/shirts. Everybody's got shirts. I got some new shirts coming in here, hopefully in the next week or so. And that's it for the Big G.
Spell your last name so people aren't thinking you're saying Hitler. Because you're German, so spell it.
No. It's Hill-Tull. Hill-Tull.
So close. Okay, I just wanted to clarify for everybody. TJS, thank you.
NoDQ.com/TJS. Take you to my Facebook, Twitter @NoDQ_TJS. And like Big G said, NoDQ.com/shirts. You can get all the great T-shirts there. And that's all I got, boys.
All right. Well, everyone head over to NoDQ.com for the very latest WWE news and rumors as we head into 2019. Head over to NoDQForums.com to check out the Facebook group if you dare. And follow the entire #Team NoDQ. They're all great, all awesome people. And stay tuned for more details on the 2019 NoDQ meetup, which is currently scheduled for Toronto the day of the SummerSlam pay-per-view. And hopefully we'll get pretty much the entire team there in person for that event. Virtue?
And I highly recommend that. I was at the Chicago one, and I had a blast. And like I said, I was at Mania this year. I was at Disney World. I was in Atlantic City. I was in Toronto for UFC. And what stole the show for my 2018 was the NoDQ meetup in Chicago. So everybody knows I'm on Twitter @NoDQ_Virtue, Facebook, NoDQ.com/Virtue. So for TJS, for Big G, and for Aaron Rift, I'm Virtue. See you next year.